So while I get this bike out, I want to do a quick review of what I've done to this thing so far, and I think I'm done, honestly. So I bought this bike with only one battery. It looked a lot different than it does now. The basket is an electric accessory that I did get. I've got the basket set. Got one for the front. Also, it comes with the bottom piece on it. I bought the I actually already had the second battery. I have since then, as I explained in some of my other videos, I have gone into the bracket that holds one of the batteries. I put soldered wires onto it and come out of it, and it has the ability to run 2 large battery packs on the back. So I have a total of 99.6, I think it is. I run 2 battery balances. The bike automatically comes with 1 battery balancer that's in it, because it does come with 2 batteries. So that ability is already there to run the 2. So every battery you add on, you have to add a battery balancer. It's the safest way to run this. You can run the batteries in parallel, and so long as you don't disconnect them, it's safe. But the problem is, how do you charge them? You have to charge them one at a time. There is a way to charge them all at a time, and it would take forever to charge it. It's just, I know people don't like to spend the $50 for the battery balancer, but it's the safe way to do it, and it can be done really easily. So I run the 2 battery packs in the back. I'll try to throw a photo in of that. So let me explain to you how we do this. I have this pouch here, and in this pouch is all the wiring. These are 2 battery balances that I have. You need 2 on this bike. So the bike initially comes with 1 battery balancer built into it, so that it can run the 2 factory batteries. So you run an additional one to run one more battery. So for each battery you add, you have to add a balancer. So I have 2 balancers here, 1 built into the bike. So all these batteries can work together, and they're well balanced. Auxiliary batteries on the back of this bike. This is a 28.8 and a 28.8 on this side. So the 2 factory batteries are 14 amp hours a piece. So between I've added the Suntour suspension seat post. It's a Cloud 9 seat. It's the cruiser seat. It's the most comfortable one I found. The cruiser seat's a little bit wider, has a different material on it. It's very comfortable. It also has springs. I mean, it's got large springs underneath, but it also has springs on the bottom of the seat, which I probably, if you can see them in there. But, you know, that made a big difference in the comfort. So the back of the bike, I have this light on there. This light, it flashes. You can change the way it flashes. It also has radar in it. So the radar hooks up with my Grumman that's up here. And, well, I've got my camera mounting away. But when you turn this thing on, it talks to that. You can see on the side of it the cars coming. It also gives you an audible signal when the cars are coming. So that's good. It tracks my rides. That's a great, you know, feature also. And if you're going to ride on a road, honestly, that's really a safe way to do it. Changed out the handlebar grips. I've changed out the handlebars. I've changed out the stem. I've changed out the fork. But while we're up here, so changed out the grips. I like these grips a lot. Threw some mirrors on it. I now have a thumb throttle. That's not a plug and play. It does, you got to move a wire. Lectric makes sure that there's 1 wire. There's only 3 wires in it, but of course they reverse 2 of the wires. All they did was reverse them so that you can't put a thumb throttle on. You know, it's they're trying to keep it proprietary to them, but I don't know why, because they don't offer a thumb throttle throw, so why they would do it, I don't know. So the camera mounts, because I run my cameras all the time, I mounted my lock down there. I put my water bottle up on the handlebars. Like I said, I've changed the handlebars out. I bought BMX bars, and I changed. This is an adjustable neck. This also has a riser, and I did change out the forks on this to suspension forks. The fenders on the bike, so the suspension fork in the front is a 140 suspension. It comes with a 100, but it's not really 100, it's like 115, so you can't you can't put a 4-inch tire on it. This is about a 3.5-inch tire on it now. These are great tires. These are Kenda tires. They're good for the trail. Not that I take this bike too much on the trail, but I do hit a rail trail once in a while, usually as a cut through. These are quiet on the road. There's no hum to them. I have the knobbies on my XPedition, X Premium, and they make a hum going down the road. These things are quiet, and so they're great. I mean, they're great on the road. They're great on the trails. This light is not the electric light. That is a rad bicycle light. It is plug and play. It works fine, but just to warn you, I believe it works on the XPedition. I do know that it works on the XPedition. It also works on the X Premium. I don't know if it works on the XP. I've heard that it doesn't, at least the earlier ones. It might work on the 3.0. So I also changed out the pedals, obviously. These are also quick release, like the ones that come on the bike. I changed out the crank on this bike also. So the crank that comes on the bike's a 52 tooth. This is a 58 tooth. It gives me, I don't get ghost pedaling until about 30 miles an hour with this bike. So it gets me over that 25 mile an hour mark when you start ghost pedaling with these things. If you're gonna ride them fast, it's the way to go. You will have to lengthen your chain. I saw a guy that put a 56 tooth on. I do have a 56 tooth on a different bike, but I had to change the chain anyway, so I don't know if the chain had to be lengthened or not, because I just got a chain and added to it. So I had to put about 10 inches on this chain. So there's a guy on there that put a 56. He didn't mention anything about the chain, so I don't know if he got away with it. The problem is when you add more length onto this, then you start pulling this gear forward. It may function with the 56, but it did not function with the 58. It pulled it too far forward. So I wanted it to sit more like it did from the factory. I also did change out the freewheel on it, only to get a little bit higher or lower gear on the lower end. Just in case I'm never on the low end for the most part anyways, but if you had to pedal this thing home because of battery failure or something, you might be really happy you had that low gear. I did obviously add the decals to the bike. I have a decal cutting machine, so I cut out the decals. I put all the Lectric logos back on. I think Lectric's a great company, so I like to do some advertisement for them. I put rim tape on it. What else do we do to this thing? The fenders. The fenders are actually so these bikes come with a 3-inch tire on it, and the fenders are just a little over 3 inches. These are 3.5. So I actually got in touch with Lectric. to get 4-inch fenders for the X Premium, because I looked at my X Premium and I said, you know what, these fenders would fit on. So they're not a perfect fit. This hole here was in the wrong spot, so I did have to drill another hole down further. But other than that, that went on the bottom. The fender comes to the back on it, and it's a pretty good fit. So I'm happy with that. I painted them red. This bike here, I have the white and red black theme. So I changed these wire management, the cable management stuff over to what I think looks a little bit better. Some people disagree. I don't know. I like it, so, and it's my bike, so what do I care? I have a lot of camera mounts on this because I run cameras all the time because I'm trying to do these videos. And you know, the suspension on this thing, people are all over the place with it. You know, it's a cargo bike, and a lot of people carry kids on it. So maybe you'd want to keep it factory. I ride by myself. The most weight I have on this thing is when I add my battery packs to it. And that weight is not on the front, so I'm not too worried about it. You know, people, you know, they have all that bobbing up and down with the weight on your bike. Well, okay, I'm not using it for weight. And number two is you can lock the shocks out if you want so that it doesn't. But you do create some problems when you add these shocks on. You bring the height of the bike up. I have a side stand on it now. I can put it on the center stand also, but I did have to lengthen. Excuse me for a minute while I do that. All right, so it works fine on the center stand, but I did add appears to be about 1.25 inches onto the stand. Believe it or not, those were 2 sockets that I put on the bottom of that, welded them on, painted the thing up. I did want that stand on there because that is handy when you're working on a bike, but I use the side stand all the time. I back this bike into the garage. You can't back it in with this center stand on it. And what I mean by backing it in, so I put down the center stand and I can go from the back of the bike and back this into the garage where I want it and just put it down. So the bike, otherwise you gotta have room around it. And I'll be perfectly honest, I have 4 bikes. So, you know, so that's my X Premium. Done a lot of work to it. I know people like, the hell you do all that work to it for? Just buy the bike you want, you know. But I like doing the work, so that's half the fun of it for me. And that's my story. So hope you enjoyed my little intro.